Ma'am, center.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Note to join Sahil on stage. It's my absolute pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to invite our very special guest, national award-winning actress, one of the most celebrated moms, Sonam Kapoor Ahuja. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to unveil the product that we've all been waiting for. Let's begin the countdown. Sonam, Sahil and Dr. YJ, thank you so much for introducing us to our friendly sleep partner ZzzQuil. Can we have a huge round of applause in case you're free from your phones now? Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, I'm going to request you to please step slightly forward here. Stay with me on stage because what's going to happen next is, of course, a very interesting conversation. We're going to discuss the very pertinent topic of sleep. But tell me, how do you wake up after those power naps?
You know, usually I'm shaken up awake by my manager, Neha, who's here. And she's like, Sonam, get up, you have to get to shoot. And then I'm like having a shot of espresso, which is so bad for you and such bad acidity. But, you know, we have something called night shifts, like night duty, night shoots. And you always fall asleep in between. And then in the day, it becomes so difficult to sleep. Because, you know, it's like it's a complete switch. So, yeah.
Well, but now I think we've got you fixed here. All right, Sahil, we're going to move on to you. Guilty or not guilty? Compromised on sleep during the week and overslept on weekends?
Always guilty. Unfortunately, but yes, always guilty.
We appreciate your honesty. Prioritize sleep over work. 1 second, is your boss in the room?
It's okay. No. I would still say guilty.
Guilty. Okay, well, we have an honest man here. Stuck to using only P&G products.
Guilty.
Guilty of that. That's a good one to be guilty of. Took an afternoon nap while you were working from home during the pandemic. Come on, come on.
Say not guilty.
No.
For sure.
You remember that Zoom call we were on once when you switched off your camera?
Where you were sleeping?
You cancelled many weekend plans just to sleep through the day.
Not guilty.
Yeah, I'm not guilty of that either. Yeah, why not, right? Why not? Okay, and we come to Dr. YJ. Dr. YJ, fallen asleep at work. Okay, he paused for a second. He was like, oops. Wish to migrate to some other country, probably India. Come on, come on. You love chicken, butter chicken. He wanted butter chicken this afternoon. Why not? Fell in love with science.
Will this be written in the press?
I don't know if it will be written in the press, but your wife is going to watch this interview.
So I have to say guilty.
Yeah. Guilty. Okay. Caught a co-worker snoozing. Okay, well, and spent many sleepless nights to make others sleep better. Oh, that's such a cute. No, I already did. Guilty. Can we have a huge round of applause for Dr. YJ, for Sonam and Sahil, because you were a sport, and thank you for answering them. I'm now going to invite you to please take a seat. Can we please, Kinjal, can you help me with this?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we're going to move to this very crucial routine, of our life called the sleep routine. We're going to have a quick conversation about that. And I'd like to begin with Dr. YJ. Dr. YJ, can you take us through what is occasional sleeplessness and what are the reasons for it?
So I think the COVID pandemic situation in this country has really sort of give us a glimpse and also amplify how, altered the sleep schedule of Indians are really. So I think very two important point to take note that, we are going into like, hybrid work model, and as well as, digital media connectivity. These have really give rise, right, to the sleeping woes, right? Not just on our physical health, but also mentally. Okay, so occasional sleeplessness is like 1 or 2 days a week, or a few nights in a month that you feel that you have difficulty, falling asleep, and wake up multiple times at night, and more importantly, you wake up, unrefreshed. Okay, so maybe just reflect that on the recent survey that we did for the ZzzQuil National survey. So 40% of the respondents, in fact, claim that they sleep less than the optimal 7 hours during a weekday. Okay, and a staggering 90% of them really admit that when you have poor sleep, you are really feeling the impact the next day. Now, that really translates that, what Shahil has shared just now, right? 60% of the respondents feel that, they are feeling very sleepy, right? And cannot really engage to their, daily activities. So I got one more figure over here, right? That actually over 30%, right? They will do nothing about it, right? Thinking that, sleep will improve over time. Okay, so one important thing to highlight that occasional sleeplessness can be due to like temporary job stress, life changes, but also poor sleeping habits like using devices or exercise just before sleep, right? So all this right will actually impact on our sleeping patterns, but right, they will go away, right, with good, regime in sleeping habits and schedule, okay? Also, one important thing to take note that, if you have prolonged, sleeping issue, let's say, for example, 3 to 4 months, you better talk to your doctor, right? That may be, we need to check whether there's, underlying medical condition, yeah?
Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay. Just taking a cue from that question, I want to talk about the ingredient melatonin. We've heard of collagen, we've heard of biotin. Tell us, how does melatonin work and what it is?
Yeah, so briefly, you have seen in the video, melatonin is actually a natural body-produced substance. It follows the circadian rhythm, so your body will actually produce melatonin during at night, and then the body will naturally clear it by the time you actually wake up, okay? Now, so the mechanism of action of melatonin, I'll just give a very simple analogy. So think it like it's like in an Olympic race, right? But in this race, it's a 100-meter dash, okay? So melatonin is actually the official who actually trigger the piston to fire and start the race to sleep, okay? So this is, how melatonin works. Now, Vicks ZzzQuil Natura gummy is a nutraceutical intended to supplement your body's natural production of melatonin, so to help you to fall asleep fast. And we have, huge, success launches in North America, Latin America, and also Europe. And Vicks ZzzQuil Natura is a non-addictive sleep supplement with no next day drowsiness. Yeah.
Okay, well, all of that sounds absolutely fantastic. Sonam, first of all, congratulations on becoming a marvelous new mom.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, I want to talk to you about another aspect of becoming a new mom, which is sleepless nights. Yeah. And then you are a professional, you are an actor, which we spoke about in Guilty Not Guilty. You have erratic schedules, you have late shifts, night shifts, etc. Talk to us about your relationship with sleep and what has it been all about?
So usually, when I'm jet lagged quite often because I fly so much. Yes. Obviously, being a mom, you're awake at all odd hours of the night. And during the day also, you have to catch a nap. They always say, sleep when your baby sleeps. I'm like, that's not easy. And that's like at all different times, right? Because they don't have their own circadian rhythm yet. It only gets established much later. So, you're sleep deprived for the first couple of months of being a mom. And obviously in films, you're shooting in the night as well, and you're shooting 12-hour shifts in the night. And then it's basically like jet lag. You wake up and then you have a turnaround day where you're supposed to get your timing back.
Yes.
And that is very hard. And, a product like this, like ZzzQuil Natura, will be actually very, very, easy for me to use because safe it is for me to use and as a supplement so that I can fall asleep. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, you already sound so relieved. There's relief in your voice.
I'm just very relieved also that it's come into India because I've used it abroad and I'm very, very happy it's come into India. It's actually a great product.
And we share your enthusiasm on that. I also want to ask you that every actor in B-Town has their own nighttime routine when it comes to listening to, soothing music or applying creams and lotions. Can you spill the beans on your bedtime routine? What do you do just before you hit the bed?
It's going to sound very new agey, artsy, but so I basically do a little bit of a yoga routine where I do a little bit of meditation and deep breathing. This is all before I had a baby, by the way. Now I just get the sleep that I can get. But so I do that. I hope I can get back to that. I use lavender essential oils and I rub it in I have a hot bath first and do lavender essential oils. And I might have a soothing natural tea, like a chamomile tea or something. And I switch off all blue light is really bad for you.
Yes.
So all my phones, my laptops, my iPad, everything is outside, like in another room. It's charging either in the living room or it's charging in my kitchen. And then, and now I'm going to take the ZzzQuil Natura and go to sleep. Obviously brush your teeth after. I don't know, how long does it take to act?
Yeah, so studies have shown that, if you take melatonin gummies, right, it can actually help you to fall asleep faster. Based on individual, also based on your lifestyle and stress, right, it takes, maybe 4 to maybe 15 minutes faster for you to take.
So I can brush my teeth
Yeah.
in that much time.
There's enough time.
2 minutes, the dentist recommend. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Sonam. Sahil, I want to ask you, I'm curious, what was the objective behind the launch of Vicks ZzzQuil Natura in India, in our country?
Yeah, as I was sharing earlier as well, as a pioneer of consumer health, it's always our endeavor to find the unmet consumer needs and bring in the products that meets those consumer needs. Now, the survey clearly shows that 60% of Indians experience occasional sleeplessness. So it's a big unmet need today that people are lacking the good night's sleep. And more importantly, people are not talking about it, right? And there are a lot of misconceptions around it. And that's why our objective with the launch of ZzzQuil Natura is really three things that we want to do. First, we want to humanize the problem, that it is normal, it is very common, everyone is experiencing it.
Right.
Second, we want to also talk about the repercussions or the implications of lack of good quality sleep. And more importantly, empower our consumers by providing the right education on what they can do about it and the solution, which is ZzzQuil Natura, which is a brilliant product. It has been launched in different markets earlier, and it has done really well. So the objective is to let India sleep better.
Why not? So now, what is your advice to people on occasional sleeplessness?
Well, I would say that, you should try ZzzQuil Natura if they can. And I think it's something, it's a supplement, right? It's an easy supplement, like the doctor said, that it's naturally occurring in your body.
Yes.
And, it's great. I'm looking forward to using it myself.
All right. Dr. Vijay, what makes ZzzQuil Natura a suitable sleep supplement for our consumers to use?
Yeah, so first of all, I shared, right, it's actually naturally produced in our body.
Yes.
So the first point I want to make that is melatonin oral supplement is non-addictive, right? So in a way that your body naturally produces melatonin at night. In fact, it produces 80%, right, of melatonin of the day. And then the body will actually clear it, right? By the time you wake up, melatonin level should be, getting to the daytime level, which is very low, okay? So, in fact, right, melatonin in India, right, it is actually a nutraceutical. So it is aimed to supplement the body's level of melatonin to help you to sleep fast. Maybe I could just give an analogy, right? Our body also produce natural, body vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin B, or collagen, right?
Yes.
So these vitamins and minerals are really support our body functions, like bones development, like immune system, maintaining hair, skin, nails, right? So following the same route, right, of a supplementation, melatonin is supplementing your body's melatonin when you need it, right, to manage occasional sleeplessness, so to say. Yeah.
Fantastic. Sahil, I think you said it earlier as well. People in our country don't regard sleeplessness as a problem.
Yeah.
So how do you aim to bring about a change in the mindset of people as far as sleeplessness and most importantly, occasional sleeplessness is concerned?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. As clearly data shows, 15% of Indians are getting good sleep. They are satisfied with good sleep.
Yeah.
That clearly means if majority of them are not getting good sleep, there is a lot of work that needs to be done in creating the awareness about the situation.
Yes.
And so obviously we have planned for a series of activities, including the National Sleep Survey that we just did and this event. And our intent is really to do three things, as I was sharing earlier as well. Through these activities, one, we want to bring the awareness so that people start talking about it and they are aware of that this is, very common problem or common situation among people. And second, we want to equip them with the right products, which is ZzzQuil Natura. And lastly, but we also want to get people to share their experiences with others on how really melatonin helps them in getting the good night's sleep. So that really is another objective. So as Sonam was sharing earlier, that she has used the product abroad, not here, but now she will be having the opportunity to use it here.
Yes.
Through these experiences, others will get to know how melatonin and ZzzQuil Natura can help them to get good sleep. And hopefully, people will start acting on it and, will be able to tackle this problem
Better.
one Indian at a time.
One Indian.
It wasn't
Yes.
something that I read was also that you guys have vitamin D in it that makes you wake up fresher
Yes.
and give you energy, which I think
Yeah.
is so great because everybody's afraid of taking a sleep supplement that might make you drowsy
Yeah.
when you wake up, and you
Yeah.
can wake up easier and fresher and brighter. And I love that about ZzzQuil Natura.
Yeah.
The fact that you wake up with energy is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, in fact, that's absolutely right. And probably Dr. Vijay can share a little bit about the science behind it as well. But it is very important that it is not just about falling asleep faster, but it is also about getting that right sleep. When you wake up, you feel refreshed and, all ready to take on the day.
Yes.
Yeah. So all looking at me. So so in fact, the design of this product, the formulation actually put a lot of thought behind it, right? So we know that tiredness and fatigue is one of the very direct outcome if you have a poor sleep, okay? So in fact, vitamin B, is actually at a recommended dose, right? Meeting your daily recommended level, concentration, right? It can actually help the body to relieve tiredness and fatigue, right? So it actually tie in very well. You have melatonin to help you fall asleep fast. And then in addition, right, you have vitamin B, right, to help you to relieve the body's tiredness and fatigue. Yeah.
Fantastic. I have another question for you, which I'm pretty sure is on everybody's mind in the room. Do we need a prescription for ZzzQuil Natura?
Yeah, so in fact, ZzzQuil Natura is actually a nutraceutical under India's food safety and standards. Right, like I've mentioned, right, it is actually a substance to supplement the body's level of melatonin. Now, the indication is not to treat, diagnose, or prevent any disease. So therefore, it is not a drug, right? It's a nutraceutical. So, right, it can be used to help you to fall asleep, and in situation whereby you need to manage your occasional sleeplessness, right, you can use the product without prescription.
Fantastic, Dr. Vijay. Sahil, coming to you, there are multiple sleeping aids available across the world. Can you tell all of us how is ZzzQuil Natura different from it?
Sure. So in PNG, I mean, of course, we are known for across the globe for innovative products.
Yes.
And ZzzQuil Natura has been world's #1 sleep aid brand wherever we have launched it, and it has done really well. As we were sharing earlier, the product is different in a way that it doesn't just have melatonin, but it also has melatonin and vitamin B6.
Yes.
So, and it is non-addictive and no next day drowsiness. So these are the really benefits that consumers look for when it comes to sleep supplement. And more importantly, it is designed for or formulated for Indian consumers.
Right.
So it also has, ingredients like lavender, chamomile, which are very popular ingredients here locally,
Right.
which people use it for soothing and calming, benefits.
I thought it was new agey. Having chamomile tea and lavender oil on me.
Exactly. So that's why it is very much designed or formulated for Indian consumers,
Right.
and that is how it is, different product as well.
And can you tell us who is the target audience for this category?
Yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to target audience, yes, I think all of us here, because most of us do experience occasional sleeplessness, and as I was sharing earlier, adults 25 to 55, people with high-stress jobs, and we are the ones who are actually experiencing occasional sleeplessness.
Yes.
And at the same time, we are the ones who are probably not aware about the situation as well. So
Correct.
definitely that's the target consumer for us.
Okay, and finally, I'm very curious to know, how has ZzzQuil Natura done in other markets?
So it has done really well, and consumers have accepted it really well wherever it has been launched. So as I was saying, it is world's #1 sleep aid brand. And it has done very well in the markets like US, in Europe, and closer home in Asia. It has been launched in Philippines earlier, and it has done really well there as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to move this conversation to the other side of the stage. I think this would be a fitting point for me to throw the floor open to questions. I'm very sure that our guests seated here on stage will be very, very happy to answer questions pertaining to ZzzQuil Natura. So in case you have any questions, my dear friends, all my guests, please raise your hand. We'll make sure the mic reaches you. And of course, I'm going to request you to please identify yourself before you ask your question. All right, question. We have a gentleman here to the right-hand side. Keep your hands raised so that we can get the mic to you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, please go ahead.
Doctor, I would like to ask a very important question. In case if it is taken in quantity, you never know. I mean, you cannot say that only one, but it goes in hands of somebody who is desperate for sleep and takes it in quantity, what will happen?
So if I understood the question correctly, is that in terms of like accidental ingestion of the
A
product?
person who,
Yes.
I mean, this will be available, as you said, there is no need
Yes.
of prescription. It will be available easily. It goes to any desperate hands. I mean, they take it in quantity. What will happen?
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Multiple gummies.
Yeah. So the product is really intended for a nutraceutical, right? And Vicks ZzzQuil Natura do not, condone or any, irresponsible use, right? So we always, like Sahil have said, right? We also need to create awareness and a series of events, right, to sort of like get people to know how to use it, responsibly, right? So the dosage instructions and indication, right, etc., is really printed, and then on pack, and then in fact, right, oral supplementation of melatonin, right, because it's an oral supplementation, there is no studies, right, to show any dependency or tolerance, effect to the product. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Sahil,
Yes.
you're at the back.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Russell De Silva from PTI. What I wanted to ask you is how friendly it is for the very common user base in India, how cost effective it is, and what would you all be doing in order to make it very accessible to the common people out there?
Yeah, so at PNG, again, we always look at the superior consumer value through our irresistibly superior products that we innovate for meeting the consumer unmet needs. And this is no different for ZzzQuil Natura. I mean, in terms of the pricing, I can share the maximum retail price which is suggested for this product is, there are 2 different packs available. There is one available with 10 gummies, which is at 199 rupees. And there is a bigger one, which is 24 gummies at 449 rupees. Of course, the pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer, but this is the maximum retail price, which we believe from the benefit point of view, it does drive that superior consumer value because of the very superior product that we have created with ZzzQuil Natura.
Also, you said that no prescription is required at all. But are there any side effects at all? Because I have tried probably the opposite of this, which are caffeine pills, sometimes to stay awake. And the next day, your body does feel, just slightly weird. It's not that it's a big side effect, but slightly weird. Would this also bring on any kind of side effects?
I would refer it to Dr. Vijay.
Maybe I can take this question. So, as I mentioned, the melatonin gummy ZzzQuil have been sold many years over many markets, and we have very good surveillance monitoring. So there isn't any side effects or pertaining major side effects reported. Now, the only thing that I want to say is that melatonin obviously will make you sleepy, right? So in the case whereby if you take melatonin and you do not go to sleep, right, there are some mild effects that's saying people like having headaches and drowsiness, right? But that can be gone, right, if you go to sleep after taking melatonin gummies. So yeah, that's what we have actually gathered so far. Yeah.
And finally, Sonam. First of all, it's lovely to see you after quite some time.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so nice to be here.
Looking killer fashion diva as always.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Have you, considering your schedules, probably it's the most erratic schedules. We in the media and you all in the industry.
100%.
Our schedules are too erratic. We don't have a schedule.
We don't have a schedule.
Yes.
And especially if you're a mom and you're working. Fortunately, I wasn't in the first 2-3 months, even though I've started work now, but I wasn't in initially the first 2-3 months. But yes, since I was 17, my schedule has been erratic.
So, if suppose you want to probably take a power nap in between,
yes,
in between shoots, like a 2-hour power nap in your trailer van, would you go for this?
Well, I'll have to ask Dr. Vijay if it's okay for me to take it, because I've always taken melatonin in the night before sleeping. During the day, is it all right for me to take and to sleep for 2 hours?
Yeah, so it's not recommended, right, if you take short naps, right? So melatonin, once you take melatonin, like I've mentioned, the body will actually clear it naturally, and it's actually intended for you to have a optimal sleep, quality sleep. And then the definition for quality sleep is, about 7 hours. So the recommendation to you is that take it at night, follow the natural, melatonin cycle, and allow, 6 to 7 hours sleep.
Whatever little bit I know, I don't know very much, as a supplement, melatonin is only produced, if I'm not mistaken, in the night in your body, right? Not during the day.
Yes.
Yeah, it increases in the night.
Yeah.
So if I take it in the day, I will ruin my circadian rhythm. Unless I have to switch my day and night. If I'm shooting, if I'm shooting in the night and I need to sleep in the day, I black out my room and then I take a melatonin so I can switch my circadian rhythm. That's the only way I will take it. I mean, this is just me practically thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Do we have any more questions? Yes. Lady here. Yes. Can we have a mic, please? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is Sana from Indian Express. Sonam, as Russell mentioned, you're actually looking very lovely today.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Tell me any weird or funny incident that you remember where the lack of sleep has caused a drama in your life.
I think a lot of the times in front of you guys in the press, I've said all the wrong things. Especially when you're younger, right? You feel like you can work all night and then you can work all day, and then you end up doing things and saying things that, because you're tired, your brain isn't functioning right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what so yeah, I've said all the wrong things and I've gotten into a lot of trouble. And, so yeah, I have. I'm sure you will go back and you will remember some things that I've said. But yeah, so much. And, I'm clumsy, very clumsy. And I remember I was shooting nights for Prem Ratan Dhan Payo, and I had to wear this like lovely sari. And, and usually I'm like very particular. I like to tie my own sari. Like I'm very like particular about how I wear it. And I had not, and I had to, and fortunately I had a slip and everything and I tied it correctly. I was a disaster because I, for some reason, could not like tie my sari correctly in the night. It was just not happening, and it was like that French chiffon which is constantly slipping from your hands. So yeah, that's the only time I remember where I was like going mad because of the night shoot.
And Dr. Wong, I wanted to ask you, even Sahil, if you can pitch in, you both have been mentioning how it's for occasional sleeplessness. Could you elaborate on that for someone who's having it like maybe regularly not getting enough sleep? Does that work for them too?
Yeah, so I think maybe just to explain a bit, right, some of the common things that we face, right, and how, it leads to occasional sleeplessness, right? So I think as a body physiology, Sonam, your baby is like sleeping how many hours a day?
Okay, so 15 hours in total is a recommended. Yeah. I just feel like he doesn't sleep, but he's sleeping 15 hours, like 6 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, like that. But totality, he sleeps 15 hours a day.
Yeah, correct. So sleep, in fact, is actually very important for growth. That's why babies sleep a lot, right? Now, in a human physiology, the peak of melatonin production in baby is the highest. Yeah. And gradually will decrease. Actually, by the age after 30s, right, our melatonin level actually drops almost by half when we were a child. So as we age, melatonin level gets lesser and lesser, our ability to secrete, right? So that's why the prevalence of sleeping issue, is more, right, in elderly. Now, aging is one thing, right? Another thing is that our things like, blue light devices, right? Yes. One interesting fact, just 2 hours of use of handphone, right, at night, right, the light, right, will inhibit your melatonin production by 40%. So you think that you are relaxing, doing social media, etc., to make you sleepy. In fact, you actually reduce the level of melatonin, right? So these are things, right, that, impact us and, indirectly for occasional sleeplessness. So back to your question, right, the use of melatonin, right, in our daily lifestyle as we age, right, the role is really supplement or replenish your body's level of melatonin, right? So that's the use. Now, I also want to highlight the fact that, if you have sleeping issue, prolonged sleeping issue, let's say for 3 months, 4 months, even taking, melatonin doesn't help, you may really need to go and consult a doctor. There may be an underlying medical condition that you need to find out. Yeah. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, doctor. Yes, ma'am.
Is it recommended for women also?
Sorry?
Pregnant women.
Oh, yeah. So for pregnant women, nursing women, and getting pregnant women, right, it is advised to talk to your doctor, right, before taking melatonin or supplement, because I think that's also the advice from doctors, right, before you take any supplement during pregnancy or nursing, right, work together with your doctor to see whether that's suitable.
Like vitamin A is recommended. You can't take vitamin A during your pregnancy at all. Like if vitamin A actually causes your babies to be, it affects the baby badly. Saying that, I think it's better to speak to your doctor on whether you can have any supplement. Like my doctor told me I can't have chamomile tea while I was pregnant. So, which is like something basic, So you should speak to your doctor before taking anything when you're pregnant.
Sahil, did you take approval from FDA in India separately, or just US FDA approval is enough?
So the product is registered as part of FSSAI in India, and we have gotten the license for that, of course. And in the US, of course, we follow the US regulatory. But given that this product is designed and formulated for India, we did have the approvals in India as well.
But from FSSI, not
Yes,
FDA.
FSSAI.
Yep, FSAI.
All right, yes, sir. Let's take the next question from
Hi,
you, the gentleman there at the back.
Excuse me.
Okay, meanwhile,
yeah.
I'm going to ask you to hold on. Please go ahead. Yes.
So my question is for Sahil. Netflix CEO recently just claimed that sleep is the biggest competitor. What would you want to respond on that? I mean, what do you think about sleep being the biggest competitor?
I'm here to comment about ZzzQuil Natura today, so I wouldn't comment on that. But what I would say is definitely, you know, one thing consumers or Indians are doing, actually not only Indians, I think it is the thing that is happening across the globe, which is people are taking longer time to sleep. And what they're doing during that time is really consuming content, right? It is all sort of content. I was sharing the data earlier, at least, you know, from our survey, it clearly shows that people are using social media. And I was telling, I'm definitely one of them, unfortunately. I mean, I would love to follow the routine that Sonam follows, where my phone is outside, but unfortunately, it's the last thing that I sleep with, and the moment I wake up again, you know, you start checking your phone.
So this is my husband's. I have to give him credit for it.
Yeah,
This is something that he has implemented in my life.
it's a brilliant habit.
You know,
Yeah.
and right now it's like after 4 months, my baby started sleeping in the other room before.
Yeah.
You know, so now the phone is next to me because you know you have the video camera on.
Yeah.
On the baby, so now it is near me. But it's actually blue light is, if I'm not mistaken, doctor, it mimics sunlight, right? If I'm not mistaken.
So the blue light,
It does.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what decreases melatonin.
Yep, production.
Yeah.
So maybe I just want to add to the point, right? Personally, I think watching movies, social media is a form of relaxation. I think all of us can agree, right, to our mind, right? Relaxation for our mind and rest for our mind. But I think for me, equally, right, relaxation and rest for the body is equally important, right? So I would say that, you know, the product, right, sort of like when you need, right, it helps you to cover that very important aspect of life, right? Your body wellness, right? Enough sleep, enough rest. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, you know, I think we have many, many interesting questions that are coming up, but we can definitely, you know, close this formal conversation here because the rest of the evening is available for conversations. Our spokespersons are going to be around. But I think on that note, can we have a huge round of applause for sleep? For sleep, everybody. Yes, and for ZzzQuil Natura, and thank you. Thank you so much for having this conversation. And I would say a very honest one that really makes a huge difference. And I personally, I would definitely say, you know, I was playing guilty, not guilty in my head throughout the conversation. But of course, I've learned so much about sleep today. All right, then. Why not we all arise? I'm going to request the ZzzQuil Natura team to please join us here on stage quickly for a photo opportunity. The ZzzQuil team, everybody, please join us.